Allahumma umrah. Then we say izar and rida. What is izar and what is rida? Have you heard of that before? You didn't? Never, did not heard of it yet? So the izar is basically, we're talking about, this is the ihram, and we practiced putting it on last time. You could practice with it at the same time. The izar and rida, the izar is really the bottom part, it's called izar, and the top part is called what? It's called rida. Okay, so that's basically it. They are basically identical. You could switch them at any time. So the izar is the bottom part and the rida is the top part. Then we talk about ifrad, qiran and tamattu. What is ifrad? Or mufrid? Doing only hajj. And what is qiran or muqrin?
You do umrah and hajj with one ihram.
Exactly. You do hajj. You do umrah and hajj back to back without coming out of state of ihram. And what is tamattu'? Exactly. So you do umrah first, and then you get out of your ihram, and then you come into hajj. So this is, the tamattu' is what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged highly and ordered his family and his spouses to do it, unless they have brought their sacrifice with them, their hadi with them, like he did. He said, oh by Allah, if I did not bring my she-camel with me from Medina al-Munawwara, I would have done what? I would have done tamattu'. And we said, unless you are bringing your she-camel with you from the US, you could do what? You could do tamattu', inshallah ta'ala. And what is talbiyah? To say, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, here I am Lord, here I am Lord. That's basically where you start your contract between yourself and whom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a verbal contract that you will state that here you are Lord and I am doing hajj for your sake. Okay, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. What is ramal? Ramal and ittiba'. What is ramal? Walk in what? Walk in that quick pace, if you would. That quick pace, and it's only for what? For men, and for how many rounds?
3.
The first 3 rounds. Only in what? In tawaf al-qudum or tawaf al-umrah. The first 3 rounds. What about ittiba'? What is ittiba'? Uncovering the right shoulder only for men, right? Only for men, uncovering the right shoulder, only for men, and it is for how many rounds? Is what? All 7 rounds. All 7 rounds. After that, there is no ramal, there is no ittiba'. What is Safa and Marwa? These are the 2 hills, if you would, in the Sa'i area. The Safa is where you start, and you go from the Safa to Marwa is counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and then 7, and you end up with where? In Marwa. Okay. What is Tawaf? Tawaf is to go counterclockwise around the Kaaba, starting from the black stone and ending what? In the black stone. There's no specific dua, if you would. You say Allahu Akbar when you start from the black stone and you go counterclockwise. The specific dua only between what? Between Al-Rukn al-Yamani and Al-Hajar al-Aswad. What do you say? رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And we said this dua covers all basics. Give us the best of this life and the best of the hereafter, and shield us, protect us from hellfire. Okay? And what is sa'i? Sa'i is the walk and the quick pace, if you would, in the green area. And then you go back, and we've talked about all of these details, inshallah ta'ala. We'll review some of it today, inshallah. How am I doing? Any questions? Today, we're going to talk about the day of Tarwiyah. We're going to talk Nahr. What is Nahr? What is Rajm? We're going to talk about Halq. What is Halq? What is Taqsir? State of Hil. And we'll talk about it, Hil. And we'll talk about Rukun and Wajib. Rukun is called a pillar. Wajib is an obligation, if you would. And we'll talk about farewell or wada'. So all of these will be new terminologies. Inshallah ta'ala, you will be introduced to it today. Because these may be important to you. Because for salah, you know well, when someone tells you, have you done takbirat al-ihram? What is takbirat al-ihram? Anyone knows what takbirat al-ihram is? Is at the beginning when you say Allahu Akbar. No one needs to tell you that. When you say ruku', what is ruku'? Ruku' is what? When you do ruku'? Ruku' is when you go what? Go 90 degrees. No one needs to tell you what ruku' is. Sujood, tahiyyat, all of these terms, you're already aware of them. But these are the terms that you need to be aware of when you go to Hajj, in case you need to ask someone. He would tell you, are you in Hill? I don't know what Hill is. You need to know. Okay? Have you done your Rajim? I don't know what Rajim is. So you need to know these things, and they may tell you. So these are certain terminologies, whether you are asking your religious group in your locality or someone who from the Saudi area, if you would. So these are definitely need to be introduced to. Hajj routes. Hajj routes is this is, if you would, the Haram, the mosque, and the Masjid al-Haram, or the Kaaba, is what? It is in the valley of what? Of no vegetations. Right? When Ibrahim says, "Oh Allah, I've resided my family," which is Hajar and her son Ismail, in the valley of no vegetation. If you should get lost anywhere in Mecca, how do you know where the Kaaba is? How do you know? What do? You always go where? Go down. If you should get lost anywhere in Mecca, always follow the road that goes down. Eventually you will see what? You'll see the minarets or see the Kaaba itself. So it's very easy. If you're in Mecca, you get lost, very easy. Just follow the road going down, inshallah ta'ala. So that's very easy. So the valley of Mina, if you would, is about 5 to 6 kilometers away. And that's the area where the stoning would happen. And that's the staging area, if you would, to go into the day of Arafah. Arafah is the farthest location from all of this area. It's the farthest location, and we're going to talk about it. Coming back, you will come in Muzdalifah. You're not going to stop when you go from Mina to Arafah, but you will stop on its way back in Muzdalifah, in al-Mash'ar al-Haram, an area called Mash'ar al-Haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَائِكُمْ أَوْ شَدَّ ذِكْرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the station of Mash'ar al-Haram like you remember your fathers, or even more so. And then we'll talk about all of these inshallah ta'ala, just to give you an idea. Okay, all of these, this is pretty much a photo that stages all things, starting on the 8th of the Hijjah, moving into encampment area, into Mina on the 8th of the Hijjah. Then basically on the 9th of the Hijjah, you're going all the way to the plain of Arafat, coming back at night, if you would, and staying in Muzdalifah. On the 10th will be, what's the 10th of the Hijjah? 10th of the Hijjah is Eid. But are you going to do Eid? What are you going to do? You're going to do so many. The 10th of the Hijjah will be the toughest day of your life. The 10th of the Hijjah will be the toughest day of your life. The 10th of the Hijjah will be the toughest day of your life. You will have so many duties that you need to prepare for that 10th of the Hijjah. And that's what I'm really preparing you for. So you need to stage it right. You need to move about it right. We will be having fun here and eating. You will be having a lot of different duties, right? The 9th of the Hijjah is the most important day of all of Hajj. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Hajju Arafah. It's a pillar. You miss Arafah, you may as well do what? Pack up your bags and come back home, because you don't have Hajj. So there are certain things that are called pillars. Without them, you don't have a foundation, you don't have a Hajj. We'll talk about those inshallah ta'ala. So the 10th of the Hijjah basically has a lot of duties. We'll talk about them, and then the 11th and the 12th, and possibly the 13th doing the Jamarat. Okay. Yawm al-Tarwiyah, which page are we on? We are on page Yawm al-Tarwiyah. Yawm al-Tarwiyah now, most of you will be in what? You will be in where? Yawm al-Tarwiyah, you will be mostly in your hotels. Okay, I'm going to show you, and I have two videos. One of them is put together by BBC, I think in 2014.